Hello and welcome once again to this Red Gaming Tech video. Myself, Amata. This time I'm doing a first impressions review of Blasphemous. Now, what is Blasphemous, I hear you ask? Well, it is best described as a 2D side-scrolling Dark Souls-like Metroidvania game with heavy Catholic themes of sin and guilt. So, let's have a quick peek at the options menu. I don't know why it's set to such a low resolution. Let's... Come on, there we go. Full screen, please. There we go, lovely. Sweet. Okay, I did actually set that up. I don't know why it changed back, but hey ho. So, as I was saying, before we get into the actual game itself, just want to say that this game is developed by the Game Kitchen, published by Team 17, and is currently on Steam for the grand price of £19.99. I, however, did receive this for free via a game code, but it is not a sponsored video. So, here we are in the game, and I've put a significant amount of time into it. See, I've started off at basically what is a prayer station. I can't remember the actual in-game name for it, to be honest with you, but it essentially serves as our bonfire. It refills our health and our not Estus flasks that are underneath our health. At the moment, we have 2. So there's also another bar at the underneath my health, and I'll talk about that as we go, because that is basically something called fervor, and it essentially is what enables us to do our special abilities. And it basically builds up as you explore the game. Now, you might notice the end of it is kind of all screwed up and weird looking. It's not actually like that by default. Essentially what's happened here is I've died, and by dying your further bar ends up getting blocked up with guilt, and there's a couple of ways to sort that situation out that I have discovered so far. There might be more later on, but for now there's 2. You can find a statue in the game that basically clears all your guilt for you, or you can basically find the place that you died and claim your guilt back, where your health bar, sorry, your fervor bar, sorry, should I say, will be restored to normal. So your guilt basically serves as your souls. Unfortunately, I went and died again before I could actually remember to pick up my my guilt. Not a sentence you see every day. So I'm not going to get a full restoration when I pick this guilt up here. As you can see, my situation is improved, but it is not fully restored. So I'm going to have to... These enemies are really annoying. Ugh. Okay, I need to... There's 2, that's why. So yeah, not a good start, but never mind. Anywho, as I was saying, so because I died previously, but when I was playing this game, not just now, I won't have full guilt by picking up my guilt. I won't have full fervor, sorry, should I say, by picking up my guilt. So there are statues throughout the game, as I've already said, that will restore that for you, and I know there is one around here somewhere, back where I've already been, so I probably will just sort that out off camera. Not really that important right now, but obviously it is very much important as you play throughout the game. Let's, oh! Ooh! Nice! So, as you saw, I built up a little bit of fervor there by performing an execution move. So you do fill it up a little bit by just normally attacking enemies and defeating enemies and stuff like that. Keep going in that cave. I've already been in there. I've already picked up the shiny that was in there. Brain. But it is filled up much more significantly by performing execution. So it is very much worth your time trying to do that. But I've not really found a consistent way to actually trigger sort of red flash that signals that you can actually do an execution, but it's probably just something that I'm missing. So what do we have actually combat wise here? Well, we've got a basic attack, as you can see, and you have a block, and you may have noticed earlier that we do have a parry mechanic in here as well. Now the parry is basically mandatory for some enemies. Like there's an area earlier in the game with some shield boys just wandering, doing their thing. And yeah, you could get behind them and all that sort of thing, but it is actually way easier to just parry, and then they'll become a bit more vulnerable to attack. Now, speaking of annoying enemies, these dudes are extremely annoying. These girls are extremely annoying. because that throwable that she's doing is not actually blockable. Like, yeah, it won't do as much damage, but it will still just knock you back and just generally be a bit of a pain in the bum. So yeah, we've got some basic mechanics here, and you can also dig your sword into certain walls to climb them. At the moment, I've only seen wooden ones that you can do that with, but there might be more later on. So, one thing I really like about this game is how neatly the theme is tied together. As I said, there's a lot of heavy themes of Catholic guilt and sin running through it, and I feel like the really highly detailed, very grimdark pixel art graphic style really plays into that. I'm going to go in here because I think it'd be a merchant. But it's also like the really nice sort of downplayed somber music and all the lore and stuff as well. Like, I feel like if you like your lore, your sort of Dark Souls way of telling a story of like long-winded item descriptions, a lot of characters talking about things you don't quite understand, all the stuff going on in the background, you're definitely going to love this. So what do we have?
What I am offering you, and may my eye...
So, torn bridal ribbon. This soft white ribbon used during marriage ceremonies has been torn, thus destroying its delicate embroideries. One of the three remains of an unfinished ceremony. The wounds inflicted by a broken oath rarely ever find healing. I don't know what that actually does, so I'm going to go no for now.
What I am
Yeah. Calcified Eye of Erudition. Eyeball belonging to Alvaroz the Scribe, who glimpsed the truth hidden to so many other eyes. Its strong scrutiny reveals the vital essence of enemies. So, reveals weak points, potentially? Let's say no for now and see what this final item list.
is a and may I don mourning.
So, Ember of the Holy Cremation. Ember crystallized through a long-forgotten ritual. It retains some of the heat of a bonfire lit on a different land. Tempers the heart, increasing the defences of whoever carries it. I wish I could afford that. That sounds great, but it's 5,000. So I'm going to go no for now. So we do have a bit of a conundrum here. The currency that you use to purchase items is also the currency you use to level up. When I say level up, you do gain items and you can put them in your rosary slots, as you can see here. I've got a Dove Skull and an Uvula of Proclamation equipped at the moment. Basically, defense and the chance of getting Tears of Atonement, which is, essentially the currency when you destroy an object. You've also got a bunch of key items here as well as a bunch of lore stuff that I'm not really going to go into now. But yes, we do have skills that we can unlock. As you can see on this screen here. Now, you can only do them at Mea Culpa statues, so I can't actually unlock anything right now, but you can see that I've unlocked everything at the top tier here. We've got, and basically when you dodge, you can throw your sword, you've got a plunge attack, you've got a charge attack. Sorry, my brain just sort of died there, and we've got an extra addition to our combo as well. So, excuse me. I think I'm going to buy this because, yeah, let's buy this because I just leveled up quite recently, so I'm not too worried about that, and it seems a pretty good item. I had no idea what the ribbon does. Maybe the ribbon is amazing, I don't know. It very much has that Dark Souls thing of like, hey, this item description is like really cool and interesting, but it also tells you nothing about what it actually does. Alright, let's So, these fellas are all around the map, and if you get 40 of them, something happens. But I don't think I'm going to be able to reach that, and I'm very nervous that there's mist around the bottom of the screen. So I think I might die if I try that. So let's not. Oh, I can climb on top of this. Awesome. Let's pick this up then. I have knot of rosary rope. What does that do? Rope not made from threads of habits of monks has ceased in ancient times. Does that give us more rosary slots, perchance? Yes, it does. Or maybe when I collect a few, it does. I can't actually equip this unless I remove one of these. So let's try out my new item that I've purchased. And hopefully we'll get some more rosary slots later. So I could go up, maybe? Oh, down. Alright. So do I want to go back up and go through that door, maybe? Oh. Oh, that lever has been annoying the hell out of me. This has been annoying me for so long. Like, what does it do? I can't seem to activate it. Like, what's happening? And now I know it's for this this lift that has like the world's longest chain on it. Alright, so we've got 5 out of 38, so not quite 40, but yes. So yeah, as I said, it's got really cool lore that is all really tied nicely again through the gameplay, graphics, music, etc. But what about the actual combat, if you ask? You know, that's the meat of any sort of Dark Souls-like game. And the combat is really satisfying. Like, it's meaty and it's tense, you know, it has that element of like, oh my god, this boss, like, you know, am I going to be able to defeat it? And trying to figure out a boss's attack patterns and all that sort of stuff. So, I've acquired an immaculate bead. Simple bead devoid of purpose, its pristine surface has never been soiled by fervent fingers. That has to do something, if I could equip it, but it says devoid of purpose. Okay, I don't know. So let's see. Cleanse your guilt in exchange for 200. Yes. Sweet. Guilt has been expiated. Alright, so these are the statues I was saying about where you can sort your guilt situation out. I didn't know yet to pay because I've never actually needed them previously, but hey ho. So which way did I come from? This way? Yes, it was this way. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, the combat is really meaty and satisfying. It is a little on the simplistic side, which I think is going to be a bit of a bummer for some people. You know, if you're looking for that really sort of complex, you can play at any sort of style that you get in Dark Souls, you're not going to find that here, unfortunately. But you are going to find a game that is fun, satisfying, and really, really challenging. Like even the basic enemies can ruin your day if you let them. Actually, I wonder if I can use my dodge to dash in the air. So I'm just wondering how to get to that door up there. Before I go back, can I dash in the air with my dodge? No, is the answer. Interesting. Okay, so we're actually way back at the start of the game now, so we've unlocked like a massive shortcut by doing this. But now I'm a bit confused as to where to go. So it very much has that Metroidvania aspect of, you know, you're not always going to know where to go. It's always going to be a bit murky as to which way actually means progress. And kind of the same with Dark Souls as well, to be fair. But this is more of a traditional Metroidvania. So even though I have no points to really level up, I'm just going to show you the Mea Culpa statue. So if I wanted to level up, I can't get any of these at the moment. So this would actually be really cool to get a ranged attack, but I can't get it at the moment, unfortunately. I think I've been this way. Yes, this is where I was before, where I went through the spooky portal. So I'm going to head back to that snowy area. There was a door I didn't go through, so it's entirely possible that this, you know, obviously unlocking a shortcut's nice, but you know, I also want to make some progress. So let's head back while I try and wrap up what I'm saying here. So yeah, I think the combat is going to be a little simplistic, and the parry window is quite generous. Which, if you know, if you're looking for like a really like brutal, punishing game, this game is difficult. Don't get me wrong. Like, you saw me got absolutely ruined just because I wasn't paying attention, basically. But it isn't as punishing as some might like, so maybe a hard mode might be added on later on, I don't know. But personally, I think the parry window is fine. It's enough where I can do it fairly reliably, because one of the things I find most frustrating is when like a game like basically forces you to parry, and then has like a really, really punishing, oh, I didn't even notice it earlier, parry window. So it's like, if you're not good at parrying, you're just not going to have any fun with this game. Oh, I love that background. Okay. These are new. These, out. These, wood that's floating in the ether. Unsurprisingly, it's not that stable. Doesn't stay around for that long. Okay, this guy is new. I've got a feeling I'm going to have to parry him. Is he even going to attack? Ow. Ow, he hurts a lot. Ow. Okay, he's got a health bar, which is actually a first. Oh, that's what that item does. Ah, that eyeball, that weird eyeball, gives enemies a health bar. Interesting, because as you probably noticed earlier, none of the enemies had a health bar. I'm just going to go refill my Estus, because using up 2 Estus on one enemy is terrible. And it's going to be a while before I find another prayer place. So I'm just going to refill, and let's try that again from the top. Yeah. So overall, I think this game is absolutely fantastic. You know, it has a really cool combat, really interesting lore, and I love the aesthetic, and again, the themes and the music all tie really, really nicely together. I'm just going to avoid him, to be honest. I really can't be bothered to deal with his nonsense. If I can even reach, there we go. Okay. Interestingly, that I can't parry any of these people. Like, the blue flash means I'm getting it, but they're not parryable. I was not expecting that statue to attack me. That genuinely took me by surprise. So, if you're wondering if this game is going to, like, oh, instant death, good to know. Don't fall down a bottomless pit. Pro tip for free from me. Anyway, so if the question is this game going to scratch that Soulsborne itch while we're all waiting for Elden Ring to come out? And the answer, I feel, is yes. Like, while it has heavy Dark Souls influences, obviously, it very much is a game that still stands on its own. Like, it clearly has had a lot of love and time put into it. Like, you know, the graphics and the lore and everything else. Like, it is a really deep game that still stands on its own despite the influences, which obviously are a little bit played out, especially among indie games. Like, a lot of people are taking their crack at a Souls-like game. So it is feeling a little tired, but that doesn't mean that a game can't do it well, and this game absolutely does it well. So rather than trying to fight this guy, I'm just going to run. The fact that he's like just there being annoying is, well, annoying. Come on. There we go. Right, now I can climb this in peace. So yeah, I feel like, yes, it is absolutely going to scratch that itch. Just because of the lore and the really cool like background storytelling, it absolutely is, ow, going to scratch that itch. If you're not a fan of more traditional Metroidvanias, I don't think this game is going to change your mind, because while it is, again, heavily influenced by Souls, it is a Metroidvania game rather than a Souls game, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not from a third-person perspective, for instance. It's this 2D situation that we've got going on here. Okay, let me kill this guy, because he's going to be annoying if I don't. Okay, so I could go to the right, and I think I will. But I think as long as you are happy to meet the game a little bit halfway with the whole Metroidvania mechanics, and obviously there is definitely is a mechanic where, or the mechanic, sorry, should I say, where you come across areas where you need an item or ability to actually progress in. Like, you didn't see it because it was on a flub to record, where I actually forgot to press the record button. Fun fact, guys, to record the video, you need to press the record button. I know that might be a shock, but okay, knocked me off screen. Annoying. You know, I don't really want to deal with that whole situation, so I'm just going to not. It's my train of thought. That's my train of thought. Oh yeah, it does absolutely have that Metroidvania thing of, yeah, you need an item, and oh yeah, that was it. There was an area I came across earlier where basically, oh Jesus, don't knock me off. Alright, I'm not dealing with you on this very small platform. I refuse to deal with that situation. So it has that mechanic of like, yeah, you need an item, because this mist was like hurting me as I tried to move through it, that sort of thing. Oh, go away, weird phantom thing. Please leave me alone. I just want to get up here. Like, I don't want to cause any trouble, and I'm about to die again. Wow, this new area is interesting. It's not being very nice to me right now. So yeah, it has that mechanic of like, yeah, this mist is poison or something. It's really hurting you, so you might need something to actually progress in this area. So yeah, if you don't like Metroidvania, more traditional, this ain't going to change your mind. But if you're after a Souls-like game that's really satisfying and meaty and really interesting lore and fun to play, which obviously is the most important thing when you're talking about a game. Is it actually satisfying? Is it fun? Is it a good way to spend your time? And my answer to that, is yes. Even though, at the moment, it's kicking my ass, I still want to see more of what's going on with these weird crying statues in the background and this cool snowy area that I haven't actually been to before recording this video. So that's why I'm doing so badly at it, she says, with tears in her voice, like, I'm bad at video games. I'm bad at video games, guys. Like, I've come into a new area and a really difficult gamer. I'm not perfect at it on my first time through. What am I going to do? In all seriousness, I would highly, highly recommend you guys play Blasphemous. Like, if you like what you've seen in this video, go check it out. You can find a link to the Steam page in the description below this video. So, let me know your thoughts, guys. Are you going to check this one out or not? Let me know your feelings. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.